Hello, everyone. All right. So, what we're going to talk about this evening is why, if you are a beauty professional, it feels so incredibly difficult to make extra money. And it's such a frustrating problem to have because I'm watching so many people come into the beauty industry and they're like, oops, I went and got booked full. And it's kind of funny because after that happens, suddenly they realize that, oh shoot, I really can't make any more money than what I'm making now. The only way that I can really increase my revenue is to raise prices or to add like weird extra services or to try to, I don't know, become a salon owner. We think whatever we think in our minds is the next logical step when it comes to making more money as a beauty pro. The other thing that I find getting in our way is that a lot of these other things that are out there to possibly make us more money oftentimes end up requiring a lot of skills on the other side of business. And what I mean by that is when you're a beauty pro, you're in the hands-on part. You're in the middle of the transformation. You're the one mixing the colors, making instant decisions, getting stuff done, turning left, turning right, like navigating all the chaos. And that is our role in business typically. Now, when we come over to the other side of business by trying to do maybe a side hustle, maybe you're doing jewelry, maybe you're doing baked goods. I mean, it could be really anything as a side hustle. What happens so many times is we have, how could I say it? Like undiagnosed, possibly, just differences in the way that we learn as beauty pros and the way that information is delivered to us as beauty pros. And when that happens to us, it makes it really tricky for beauty pros to create actual products, courses, businesses. I mean, anything that requires that organization. Why? Because in the salon, it's so full of dopamine. There's dopamine everywhere we turn, every smell, every texture. We put the oil on. There's sounds like giggles and stories being told and laughter. There's caffeine, there's coffee. There's all the things that we know and love when we're in the salon. And when we step outside of that environment that is so charged with dopamine, we get ourselves into a place where we're like, this isn't so fun over here on this side, like having to keep receipts and count things, and I don't know about that. And so that's why a lot of times, like, this is a totally normal feeling for you to have if you're a beauty pro. And it's tough having to depend on your clients. It's tough having an income that is unpredictable. There's always crazy stuff going on, like lurking around every corner. And you know, being a beauty pro can be hard sometimes. There's a lot of perfectionism there. There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of, I think, unhealed trauma in both like people coming in and in ourselves. So we're often triggered. I mean, it can just be tough. So another question that I get is, that I often get asked is passive income even real? Or is it just a bunch of BS that influencers are spouting around all over the internet? So first of all, what's passive income at all? Like, what does passive income even mean? And second of all, is it a legitimate thing for beauty pros? Like, is it actually something that beauty pros can do to make extra money? And the answer is passive income is simply income that you make that is not tied to your time. That means you don't have to be physically doing the thing or physically touching the thing or physically even talking to the person to make the money. What you do is you physically touch the thing, or you physically talk to the thing, or you physically do the thing to make money and capture that process, capture your system while you're doing it. And then you take that particular thing and turn that into something that is a digital product that basically just sells on repeat. It could be a course. It could even be a PDF. It could be so many different things. And for beauty pros, we're super visual. So if you love graphic design, if you love all of that kind of stuff, I mean, there's the possibilities for what we can do in the digital world as beauty pros are really, truly endless when you look at all of the really cool skills that we have. So, I mean, if you're really into like, I love the transformation and the magic of the beauty industry that we're able to literally take something that looks like this and make it look completely different. It is a fun superpower to have. We can take that and do that same thing online with digital products and digital courses. How? Because when you are focused on really just helping one person solve one problem, it's super easy and it becomes very simple. And by just focusing on you doing that thing that you do every day anyway and just capturing it and then putting it out there, you actually end up helping 20, 30, 40, 50 people solve the same problem. I have a lot of students that I work with. They have been launching courses left and right. They have been launching the digital products, the things that they're putting together, and it's been such an exciting season. It's been a really exciting season for my students, especially because I'll tell you just a really quick story of one of my students. She put together a course and she was like kind of hesitant. She got really overwhelmed and she got stuck for a long time. And I finally was like, hey, you need to get this done this weekend, like period, because there's a customer like that has come to me that wants to buy your course already. And she's like, oh, and so she put it together really fast. And all of a sudden, when she went and launched the course for that one customer, 10 more people purchased the same course. She 10x'd her revenue. That's like saying, I'm going to charge you $50 for a set of nails, which is dirt cheap these days. And instead, she made $500 in that hour that she would have spent doing the set of nails. Did you guys even get that? Like, she spent a couple hours making a course for press-on nails for one person to solve the one problem that this one person had. She launched it and 10 other people had the same problem and bought it. So she 10x'd her revenue. That means like instead of doing the set of nails for $50, she made $500 in that same amount of time, you guys. That's what passive income is. And is it legit? Yes. It's not because I'm Lauren Wireman. Like if you know me from the beauty world, it's not because of that this is working for me. It's actually super simple. So it's not because of that. Honestly, if you have a skill that is something that somebody else is looking for, it's not that hard. It's super simple to capture it and to get it out there. So definitely not BS. There are beauty pros out there that are making lots of passive income. It's not just me. You're going to see more and more stories as time goes on. And a lot of my students have awesome stories as well. Why hasn't this worked for me before? How come when you try to start doing these things, it gets sabotaged? Well, I'm just going to be very real with you right now. There's ADHD at play a lot of times. And, oh, I love this. Thank you, Jessica, for the question. There's ADHD a lot of times at play. There's perfectionism at play. There's trying to do too much too fast at play. There's focusing on the wrong things at play, like logos, Instagram aesthetics. It's so funny. Like everybody wants to go on a shopping spree. They're like, wait, hold on. I'm gonna be a course creator. I need to go they're like, I need new glasses. I need a new computer. Like I gotta go to a shopping spree. I need all the things. Like my whole life is changing. I'm having an identity crisis now, which means I need a shopping spree. And that's a lot of times what happens with us when we try new and different things. Jessica, so you asked, what are the best channels to launch or sell? Okay. Launching and selling, I'm going to kind of redefine that a little bit. So, the front end of what would be like your sales funnel. So your sales funnel is a system that automatically, basically sells the course and delivers it to your students for you. At the beginning of that process is like, hey, everybody, look, I have a course, right? And so that type of information needs to go out on several platforms. The very tippity top of it is just going to be your social media. So your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, your YouTube. You don't need to do all of them. You want to pick like one to really hone in on. That makes the most sense for your audience. Get on that one. Make sure there's a link in your bio. Make sure there's a link. Anytime you can have a link to just directly lead customers to the actual platform where the course lives or where the product lives, then from there, that part of the process takes over. There's several options for where to push your course. So there's Stand.store, there's Kajabi, there's Thinkific, there's Passion.io, there's so many, and I feel like every day something new is coming up. Jesse, I was looking at that. That's a great question. So Jessica, let me know if that was helpful, what I said, or if you have like a follow-up for me. Jesse, what do I think about apps versus a website for courses? I was looking at apps this morning. I was like revisiting because Jesse, we've been at this for quite a while, and I'm working with a group. I'm about 20 in the sprint, where I'm just literally every day telling them their next step and then watching them do it and then helping them do it, right? So we're just over halfway through, and we are at the part where I'm teaching them about all these options that they have and showing them a behind the scenes, because I'm in a lot of them. So I'm showing them behind the scenes stuff in the class. It's really fun. And so I went in this morning to Passion.io to check out what they have. Stand.store. I was looking at a bunch of them, and honestly, if I was new starting out, I would personally still go with Stand.store. And I don't even have an affiliate code. I'm probably gonna have to get one for the purpose of my class and helping my students. But I would say like it's a great one to start on. You can also bypass all of that and just do a private Facebook group and charge people to get in. That part you would have to automate somehow, or you would have to just do manually. So if you're having like 100 people sign up, that might get really crazy. Or maybe you have somebody that can help you with the process, the administrative process, and making sure people get into the group. But typically for classic, like really passive, just income streams, super simple, you would set up something like Stand.store. The link would go in your bio. And then when students would click that, what it does is it sends them an email. And then in the email, they click a link, and that's how they open it. It's going to feel like an app once they open it. So I'm still not, I would be on board for the app if you're making like $5,000 a month or more in passive income. At that point, I would say consider an app. But until then, I wouldn't worry about it. It's not going to help like sell something. It helps once you can't manage it anymore and you need like a bigger system, I would say. Okay, let's see. Oh, good. Another one. I love this. Thanks, Jessica. How important, okay. They're great questions. I love this. I'm just opening it up. How important is it to have a website with awesome sales pages and it looking really legit? Because I'm good with it being messy to start, but I really want it to look professional too, because I want it to look valuable, not just, of course. How important is it? Jessica, the most important thing that you can do. I'm like, I like my eyes glasses are glaring. The most important thing that you can do, Jessica, is win the hearts of your students. Then nobody cares what anything looks like after that. If you really win the heart of your students, okay, and if you really serve your students well, if you really connect well to your students and you're solving that like one problem for that one student, meaning like when I say that, when you solve that one problem for that one student, you have all of them in your class with the same type of problem. So like when that's your heart posture in approaching course creation, it doesn't matter. You could have typos. You could send an email and forget to put anything in the email and just send another email. People love you even more. So don't put too much pressure on like, now, that's for like beauty industry, if you're trying to stay in the beauty industry. Jessica, if you are trying to go into a niche outside of the beauty industry, so say I don't know anything about you, but pretend you have a husband and pretend your husband is into some like profession, like, I don't know, flooring. My husband used to sell flooring for like a minute when we first moved to Florida. And it was really fun because I got to learn so much stuff about flooring, and he became an expert at flooring, which is really like it's cool to have all that information. So anyway, if I was going to work with my husband and we were going to make a course to teach like people how to shop for flooring, because it can just be overwhelming and confusing when you go in because a salesperson's coming at you. And then if you go to like a big box warehouse place, you're like, is this the right stuff? And nobody kind of knows. And so it would be a neat course to do, right? So if it was something like that and you were going to an audience where like the people maybe didn't know who you were and you were going to do traffic through Facebook ads, I would say like you definitely need to have a level of professionalism where you look like legit. But if you overdo it, it can look scammy. How do you avoid looking scammy? Branding. Branding will keep you from looking scammy. Congruency, cohesion, however you want to like express that. That means that when you do like a set of nails, for example, they all look like they belong in a set together. There's not one that looks like super out of place or two or three that looks super out of place. So when you're building the experience for your customers, from like just figuring out who you are to like, oh, maybe let me see. Oh, it's like a little free thing. Cool. They click your little free thing. They go to the page where they can get your free thing. And then they're like, oh, wow, but she has this other thing for this. Like, let me check that out. And then they click on that. Every place that they go along the journey in that funnel needs to look the same. You can't be like, oh, I think I'm going to try like Garamond font out here, and then I will switch to Playbill here, and then I will do Arial here. And on this page, I'm going to make it look like 80s disco night. And then on this page, it's going to look like, millennial misery gray. And, it's just like, you can't do that. So those are like the little things that really will throw off like the vibe, so to speak, when you're building funnels and stuff. So great questions, y'all. Keep them coming. I'm like, I love this. Like, I like just like getting the questions like straight up. I have a list of questions too, that I want to answer from Facebook. So I'm going to do a little bit of that too, but this is fun. Like, throw the questions at me. I'm definitely into like just answering on the spot and giving like instant, answers, because it's so efficient, right? All right, let me pull up a few things. So another question is, what's actually working right now? This is a really awesome question. So what are the most profitable and realistic side hustles for beauty pros in 2025? Definitely. Okay. I'm going to list this from like easiest stuff to make to the more complicated stuff to create. So I'm going to say the easiest thing that you could like get done and actually have a passive income stream going is going to be a mini course. That's going to be a course that somebody can take in about 30 minutes. It might cost like $12, it's going to be $50 or less. And it's typically going to be something that can be done in like under an hour. You're typically going to teach like, one big promise, like this is the skill you're going to learn in this mini course. Typically you break it down into 3 to 5 steps. And, okay. Oh, I love this. Thanks, Jessica. I'm going to look in a second. We're going to break it down into 3 to 5 steps. And so that's kind of easy to get started. Typically there's not a lot of editing on a course like that because it's just a mini course. So it's kind of light on the editing. That's what we do in Launch with Lauren. We are right at day, 3.1. So we have like 4 chunks. And then every chunk has 5 classes, and each class is, so we did the whole first week, we did the whole second week. Now we're just starting the 3rd week today, and it's so much fun. So that's what I teach in that, and I hold your hand through the process there. Another thing that works is like you could do some affiliate stuff. Like, people make money. I ran an affiliate program for my brand for a while. So I saw like we were dishing out definitely like about $12,000 a year in like affiliate commissions as a beauty brand. So like that $12,000 went to regular beauty pros out there, nail technicians. If you know my brand, you can probably guess like who got a lot of it. But you have to work for the money. It takes your time. It takes your energy. It doubles a little bit because like you might already be doing some of this stuff, so you can capture the content and sort of repackage it quickly to sell the product for the brand. But it can definitely be stressful. I think a lot of people get into it and then like just drop the ball because it's a lot. It's a lot to add on top of your full-time schedule already. Digital downloads are awesome. If you're somebody who loves digital creating, like I have an iPad, I can draw like patterns and beautiful things like seamless patterns. Some people do print on demand. Print on demand doesn't have the best margins, but it's definitely like you'll make money. There'll be profit. It just doesn't have like a big profit for the time and effort to put into it. Does it work? Yes, it definitely works. I've done it myself. I ran one for probably about 6 months just to get like a feel for how much time and effort it would take. And I ran it like a beauty pro that possibly had ADHD. I ran it the way I would run it if I was working full time in the salon, which was like, I made some shirts one day when I felt like creative. And then I stayed up for 3 days straight and got the whole thing built. And I was like, hey, look, I made a print on demand. And then I talked about it in like 2 emails, and then I forgot it existed because I couldn't see it. And I don't know, like the only time I'd remember it was there was when somebody would place an order, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I have a print on demand store. That's funny. And so like, yeah, we would, but for what I had to do, because I was so lazy and I didn't want to like promote it on social media and I didn't want to do all of that extra work. I did not put very much effort into it at all. So did it end up being profitable? Like, no, not really. I lost a little bit of money actually. But did a bunch of people get really cute stuff and really cute shirts? Yes, they were all super happy about it. I got to learn all about what it takes to run a print on demand. And I was like, ooh, beauty pros are going to love the idea. They're going to be like, I don't have to fulfill anything. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I get to like be creative and make shirts and do stuff. And yes, there are times where this type of business model works so seamlessly and it's so easy. But for a lot of us, if you're feeling like you're going to have to convince people to buy things from you, you don't want to do it. If you feel like you can easily persuade people who are already looking for the thing, do it. Okay? So if you feel like you have to put a lot of effort into convincing somebody of they're going to want to buy this product, it's probably not a good idea. If you feel like it would be easy for you to persuade somebody because you're like, hey, I can do that, but maybe I can do that just a little bit better, it's a great idea to do it. Do your version of whatever it is. All right, let me see what's next. Tried and tested a digital course in person, and it was amazing. I only had 3 attendees, but the need was there based on the number of requests and asking if it was digital. Thing is, the in-person class was 3 hours. Unsure if I should condense it into a mini class, say 60 minutes, or do 3 modules, 5 steps, types of digital course, both. I would say it just totally depends on what you're teaching, Jessica. Like, here's the thing to consider. Your audience and how they value their time, your audience and how they value their money, your audience and how they value the skills that they're learning and how they're going to be able to take those skills and then turn them into more money for them. And so when the value is because they're going to be able to take the skills and turn it into more money for them, and they can actually see that, like the hair extension girl that did like a high take, she was like, for $12,000, I'm literally going to teach you how to do this whole business. And I've made like $100,000 in my business. 24 people immediately were like, take my $12,000. I've been wanting to add hair extensions anyway, like no brainer. The hairstylist made almost $300K in 1 month, like 1 month. And she has these people in like a mentorship for the year where they have some level of access to her. But a lot of it is because she took little teachings and little sound bites as she was teaching her staff in the salon and just captured her teaching the staff. They put that on a platform, and now that's how she 10, 20X's the thing that she spent her time and effort doing the one time, if that makes sense. So that's a really great question. So that's a perceived value because they see the money that they're going to make. If you're trying to teach a skill because they just want to feel more like a gangster nail tech, like they have confidence and they can handle anything, what's that worth to somebody? For somebody, it could be worth $500. Like, I hate my job so much. I want this to work so bad. I would happily pay somebody $500 to just teach me how to have boundaries with clients and how to be more confident. To another person, it's not going to be worth that. You don't want to cheapen something that has value just because you're like, oh no, if I put it at $500, only 3 people might buy it. Okay, that's $1,500, right? If you value it or put it down for like $29 for a course like that, you know what I mean? So it's all, and then the cool part is, if I know you're a bomb teacher and you're good at transferring information quickly and efficiently, and I like your teaching style, I would pay $500 to sit in a class that only took 1 hour. If I could get everything I needed in that 1 hour, I would give you $500 in a heartbeat, because you just saved me money, because I didn't have to sit for 6 hours listening to like crazy stories from old. It's like when you get to at certain levels in business and you just need the information, it's not about like falling in love with you anymore. It's not about validating you anymore. When somebody pays for the course, you're validated. Now your job inside of the course is to deliver the information, not to win their hearts inside of the course. And that's the other thing. Like, you're going to win their heart inside of the course, of course, but it's not about charming them or getting like something out of them at that point. They already gave you their money. Teach them. It's all about them from them forward. It's all about them. So the only thing that should remain in a course when you're trying to like reduce is something that brings value to them. If a story or an anecdote or something that you're telling does not add value to them, you shouldn't be telling it in a class, like as a teacher. If it's going to add value and make everybody's brains click into place, then tell the story. So there's a lot of little things. Like I teach a lot of my students that in my programs because not a lot of people teach how to be a good teacher. And you have to know, like, there is a time for it to be like about us for a minute. But after that, it's all about just who's in your class, solving the problem, getting the information to them in the most efficient way possible, and, you know, being cool. So great question. There's so many formats for courses, and there's so many. That's awesome, Callie. Let's see. Okay. Currently have a nail business email newsletter running now, almost 40 weeks, unsure how to monetize it. It's just a portal to promote my eventual digital courses. Yeah, next step is a digital course or a subscription. So you can do a continuity type of product, which is where like they pay every month. And then, or you could just do some standalone courses. You could drop a Facebook group and then promote everything in the email list and in the Facebook group every time you launch. You could do stuff in a Facebook group. So like what I have that we're about to finally launch and drop, which I'm really excited about, is like I, for example, am opening up a subscription where like you guys, and when I say you guys, it's like anybody that's like a beauty pro, creative business owner that just wants to have access to me at some level can come in. It'll be probably, it'll be under $100 a month. Maybe it'll be 99 because it's going to be like, you know, pretty awesome what I've got cooking up. And so anyway, that would be like a continuity product. And hopefully I'll be launching that like really soon. So if you're not on my email list, there's a link around here. So I think right up at the top here, there's something that says featured link. Does it say 0 featured? I'm like, are you kidding? No, it does. Okay. So there's one called My Launch List. And here, I'm going to hit show. Done. There. Okay. That's just my email list. That's all it is. It's just if you're not on my email list, then get on my email list. I teach in my emails. I encourage you with this kind of stuff in the emails. So definitely sign up for the email list. That's all. I have really cool programs and mentorships and all that kind of stuff. And you can hear about it in the email list and figure out like what's going to be a good fit for you. But you'll find that information. So we'll get the information for the stuff that we're about to launch to you as long as you're just on the email list. So I'm not here to like, that's pretty much all I have to pitch like today. I'm just here to answer questions because I love you guys and I want to see you guys succeed. So you monetize an email list by then adding the link to the products in the emails, talking about the products in the emails and doing stuff like that. So, let's see. Okay. Yeah, you are on it, Jessica. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, what I figured is like there's people in here who really have time to devote to it. So if I do a type of mentorship program where it's like $100 a month or something like that to come in and access, somebody that's moving quick can join for a month or two if that's all you need, and that's cool. Like join for a month or two and then dip out and like go build your thing, do it. There's going to be other people that it's just going to take them a longer time because they're building something more intricate or more complicated or more advanced, and or it could just be their first time and they just really need to like kind of absorb it. They want to understand it, take their time. Stay in it as long as you need. Some people are building empires, and when I say empires, I'm talking about like, oh my goodness, something free, Callie. You just have to build a form and say like, hey, something for free. Like right now, that's my link here is for you to get on my email list. So like I'm doing a live and my featured link is my email list. So I'm delivering free information to everybody. So it's kind of like an on-demand freebie in a way. You can do an automated freebie where you have a video that comes and anybody can watch it at any time. You can have an on-demand PDF. You just do something like that. That's like, you know, it's called a lead magnet, something inexpensive. And then that's how you get people to sign up. Sorry guys, I have to take a sip. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Amazing. You guys are I'm so excited to like see everybody jumping on this. All right, beautiful. Let's see. What do you need to believe to actually pull this off? This is getting into like mindset stuff. What happens when I get students like in my live launch with Lauren, right? That's where I'm teaching course creation to a group of beauty pros. And we're doing like, we meet every day, right? And I tell them like, here's what we're doing today, here's what we're doing today, here's what we're doing today, every time I meet with them, and I make sure they get it done, and it's fun. And I'm only talking about it just to give context to like what I'm talking about here. What happens though is when I get inside of that room, there's so much mindset the whole first week. And it's not like I do some heebie-jeebie mindset stuff, but I get your head in the right place and your heart in the right place to make courses, because you can't, you really can't make courses without your head and your heart in the right place. And if you don't have your head and your heart in the right place, people feel it and they can like kind of sniff it out, especially in the beauty industry, because we are experts at sniffing out BS. If you agree, can I get an amen? Because we make the BS, right? Like, we're the ones that like make the fake. So I think we're pretty good at sniffing it out for the most part, unless it's a narcissist. They're pretty good at doing their thing. But for the most part, what do you actually have to believe? So I'm not going to tell you to go like look in the mirror and do affirmations and stuff like that. That's not what it is at all. You just have to have your head in the right place, because it's really easy to get pulled into a direction of overwhelm. You have to reframe your identity a bit, which means, Callie, how to get them signed up for email. Just make noise out on social media and tell them to join your list, or just tell them about your free thing. Anyway, what you have to do is reframe your identity a bit, which means you're going to feel weird, but you have to wake up and see yourself as a digital creator, or as a course creator, or as an educator. Whether you've been called that or not, like I can dub you educator right now in the name of Lauren Wireman and Wildflowers, whatever. It's not, there is no licensing for it. Like, you don't have to go get a license to teach courses online. Anybody can teach courses online. Anybody can say, I'm qualified to teach nails. Even if you don't have a nail license, you can literally teach courses online about how to do nails in a salon. So there is no bounds or limitations. That is everything just in your mind that's blocking you. Another thing is you have to say like that you don't need to be an expert, just impactful. And so that's all you have to remember. You just have to be impactful. You don't have to be an expert. Experts can get really like egotistical too when you come off as an impressive expert rather than an impactful educator. So that's, you guys will hear me say that 1,000 times with course creation. I'm like, this is not about being an impressive educator. Impressive educators tell 10,000 stories and they feel like they have to constantly convince you of their expertise. That's not what we're doing here when you work with me. That's not what I teach at all. I teach you to be an impactful educator, because the whole point is to transfer the information to the students. And so, yes, like I could just, that's my soapbox all day long. Yeah, it's reframing our identities is really weird. I'm in the same thing, you guys. I'm like, what am I becoming right now? What is happening to me? And I'm kind of building something with my husband right now, and I'm so excited about it. Like, I've never been so like excited. I'm just like, yes, thank God. It's so fun to do that. We've had, me and my husband have had seasons, where we've got to build together and then we couldn't build together, and now I'm excited to build together again. Apparently you only need a 10% edge over your students to be considered an expert. Listen, Jessica, girl, here's how I got on that bandwagon, and I'll just touch on it so briefly. I got hired at a beauty school to be an instructor, and I had only done I had my license for 3 years or 5 years or whatever, but I had it for actually 9 years, but I wasn't practicing. I probably only could scrape together barely 3 years of in-salon work. And then they made me the nail instructor, which I had maybe 2 manicures under my belts, and became the instructor. So yeah, I would have to learn it the night before, and then come in and teach it, because when I went to beauty school, I was high the whole time, and I don't remember a thing. I mean, I was it was not a good part of my life when I was in beauty school. So when I became a teacher at the beauty school, I had the opportunity to kind of relearn everything, and I would cram it the night before, and I would come the next day and teach it. But then the second time I taught it, it was awesome. And a lot of times I was teaching the same thing twice, because we had 2 groups of students. That was a technique that I actually pulled into the system that I use now when I write my courses and curriculum. I was talking to a student about that earlier today, who was building some curriculum for an in-person class that they're doing. And I was like, yeah, my process was you just kind of have to hash it out. And then you have to do a dress rehearsal almost with somebody, and do it and act like you're doing it for real. Run it in real time. Make sure your time frames are going to work. Make sure they're being annoying and asking lots of questions, like annoying in the best way. You know, you're trying to gauge your time. You're trying to make sure it flows well. So a lot, you know, I'm full of tips for you guys. I'm full of hacks for like brain hacks to gamify course creation, because if we don't make it a fun game, and gamifying seems like weird, but it's honestly like, it's Mary Poppins. When I think of gamification, I think of Mary Poppins where they had to clean the room and like, you know, I don't even know, was that the spoonful of sugar makes medicine go down? Yeah. And like the drawers are popping in and out and everything's like, you know, and the whole room suddenly comes to life and cleans itself. That's definitely what I think of. So gamifying is something that we can inject into this whole thing to put the dopamine back into it. The dopamine sort of is sucked out when it comes to digital products and courses, but we add the dopamine back in by adding gamification to what we do. At least here with Miss Lauren, that's what we do. So what's your next move if you're really serious about this? Definitely, if you want to start now, the easiest first step, if you haven't, I have a $7 course on like it's a 1 hour crash course on course creation. You can take that anytime. There's a link in my Instagram bio. You can just, like I said, just join my email list and we'll send a bunch of links out for you all. That way you know like which way to go and what to look for and what to do. But I have a $7 crash course. It's just going to give you kind of a bird's eye view or a flyover of what all's involved in just making a course if you've never done it before. Next step after that, so we're going to launch our membership. I would say join the membership. Everything is best at the beginning when I first launch it because there's less people in it. I can give way more time, attention, and focus to the ones who are in it. And I extra over deliver especially when something is new, because I have the time and I can pay attention to it and I can really nurture it at the beginning. So I really try to take my students that join these types of things in like under my wings really close. So, no, I don't have like an extra urgent special deal for you right now. You're like, okay, do we get a special deal if we sign up? No. I'm going to send you a link in the email. It'll come in the email. We're still getting the space prepared. It's going to be so amazing, but you guys are going to get to ask me anything that you really need to. So I'm going to have basically like a question booth and I'm going to have a confession booth, and you're going to be able to come into one or the other. You're either going to be able to like just vent emotionally, and you know, if you need to scream or you need to like cuss or you need to just like let it out, you can let it out, whatever it is, the problem that's going on. And then I will be able to respond. I'm not going to like replay your video unless you want me to do it, then I will. But if you would like to just be anonymous, of course. But I'll say, you know, a student was having this particular problem and here's my response. And so all of this is going to be like just vaulted for you guys. And it's going to be so much fun to make it, so much fun to create, so much fun to be able to get in there and just find the answers to the questions that you're looking for. I'm of course going to have a live event in there just for the people who are in that group so that I can get in a small group and really help, you know, answer Q&A and do stuff like that. So it's going to be awesome. So those will be next steps. I do have some like big, I don't know if I'm going to do another live sprint. I would love to do it. I'm not doing it in July, that's for sure. So I'll look at maybe doing it again sometime later in the year for those of you who need Miss Lauren to hold your hand all the way through the process. And I'm happy to do that for you if that's you. So I'll give you more details about that. The main thing is just be on my email list. If you're on my email list, you're good. The information will come to you. I love writing, writing about different just stories and things that happen. And of course I have like a team that helps me with my emails and stuff like that, because what I do is I just tell the stories like blah, 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 blah. And then my team helps to put it into the email for me because I'm like, oh my gosh, can't we just transcribe this? So they kind of, because you know when you do that and it messes it all up, right? Okay, anyway. But yeah, just get in there and we'll send you guys what you need. We'll help you find your way through my systems and all of my stuff. Let's see what else. All right. This is the time I'm going to kind of open up the floor. Thank you, Callie. I love the crash course. Let me know if there's any other questions that I can answer tonight. I also do have a business retreat. There's 2 spots. Okay, there's a couple other things. I have, I think, 2 spots left only for the business retreat. I have a beautiful business retreat in October in Bonita Springs, Florida. And I have a house, like a mansion basically, right on Bonita Bay. And we're going to spend 4 days together. It's just a very small group. There's only 7. So I have 5 in it right now. I only have 2 more spots for the retreat. If that's something that you're interested in, definitely let me know. And let me see what else. Oh, I also, if you need coaching or mentoring one-on-one, stuff like that, I have some options that are available for that as well. I do something called a Clarity Bomb, and I only do a few of them a month because they are like a bomb when I work with my students to do this. It's like, I really pray before really hard because I want it to be exactly what it needs to be for the student. But what it is basically I sit together with you for 3 hours. Like, we just knock it out. 3 hours. Like, come to the table, bring your coffee, like take your fish oil, get your notebook, get your computer. Me and you sit across from each other for 3 hours, and we literally hash out your entire business plan. We also map out your funnels. We map out what your ads should look like and how they should be aimed. We map out just every detail of your funnel and organize it the whole way, and then make you basically a task list so that you can see exactly what you need to do to accomplish whatever it is. And then I also give you the prompts for your business that you can use in ChatGPT. So that's called a Clarity Bomb. And again, I only do like maybe 2 or 3 of them a month because it's a lot. Like, we crunch it down in that 3 hours, and then you leave with like a map for it. It's like basically you walk out with a business plan for your whole business for the next like 3 years. So it's a lot that happens in a Clarity Bomb. So anyway, okay, here's another one. Not sure if I should have a private or public Facebook page for my eventual students, or both. Thoughts? That's up to you. I would start with just a private one, and then I would talk about it from your personal Facebook and talk about it from your social media. And then if you have an email list, I would talk about it like crazy in my email list and tell people, like, if they're not in the Facebook group, to get in the Facebook group. The thing is, so like with Facebook groups, you can set up a free Facebook group, and that's cool if you're going to actually like be active in it every day and like do your thing. You could also do a paid Facebook group. What would move somebody from the free one to the paid one, though, if you're showing up the same way in both? So you really have to differentiate, like, what's going to incentivize them to want to move from the free one to the paid one? What value is there in paying from moving from the free one to the paid one? So, like, you don't want to have both at the same time, because if you only have, like, 20 people in the free one, it just doesn't make sense yet, So I think a lot of us, and I'm just going to say this, like, and this doesn't apply to everybody, but most of my friends in the beauty industry, a lot of us are anxious people. We're anxious thinkers, which means we think ahead. Okay. It's actually bullcrap. You don't have anxiety. All it actually is your brain, instead of staying right here, right now, is just already processing way in the future. And it's just not meant to do that. And so there's ways to pull it back into the right now. And I can say that as somebody who has suffered from anxiety and panic attacks since I was 15 years old, and I'm now 43. I have figured out how to stop myself mid-panic attack. I was a helpless little baby bird when I was 15, though, and it was terrifying. So there's so much that you can learn to do when it comes to just the brain, to mindset, all of these things that are super helpful. And I think that with Facebook groups especially, you have to really think, like, what you have to put yourself in the shoes of your customer, okay? Which, again, you just have to kind of close your eyes and like really try to be present in what they're going to feel and what they're going to experience when they're going through your system or moving through your system. The more you know and understand what your audience needs, the better you can serve them, and the better you can build things that are going to serve them. So what I'm saying is, like, just to back the train up, back to like anxiety and anxious thoughts. What I had to start doing to combat that, because it was out of control for me, is if I would start thinking about something in the future, like, okay, if it's a right now problem, then it's a right now problem. And if you're in here just asking questions because you see it becoming a problem in the future, perfect, cool, tuck it in your pocket, try to remember it. But a lot of times we wrap up our time and our energy, like all of this that we burn when we're just like thinking, overthinking. We burn so much fuel out of our brains overthinking things in the future that are not a today problem. Like, is your course finished? If the answer is yes, then maybe it is a today problem. If your answer is no, it is not a today problem. And that is not a problem until your course is finished. If you already have a group and then you're building a course, it's also not a problem because you already have the group, and maybe you could just like, you know, add one if it made sense strategically to make extra noise or to add that to like the system or the funnel. So I think a lot of times we just get ourselves, and this is very easy for beauty pros to do. So just like from me to you, for all of you that are here, watch out for this. It's really easy for us to get sucked down rabbit holes. We all know that about ourselves, right? But the problem is when we experience overwhelm as beauty pros, a lot of times we run where we're like, okay, I'm going to work on aesthetic stuff, or I'm going to work on like graphic stuff, or we'll find some little part of the business that just makes us happy. But all we're actually doing is procrastinating, but it feels productive because we're doing something. So it's like productive procrastination in a way. And we avoid doing the very thing that's holding it all up, which is making the actual course. I've been teaching course creation now for almost 2 years. And the biggest thing that I see beauty pros struggle at is right when they get to the part where they actually have to pick up the camera or their phone and record themselves doing the thing. That's almost always where people just get overwhelmed because they're like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then the idea and the vision in their head starts growing and growing and growing. It becomes more complicated and more complicated. And now we need a backdrop, and now we need all this stuff. And now we need this. Now we did that. And it becomes such a big overwhelming ordeal to do the actual video part, when in all honesty, you could just get somewhere with a plain background, not even have like the best makeup on. You can kind of Facetune your face if you need to, just to get the ball rolling for your very first brick in the empire that you're building, which would be a mini course. So it's actually, if you could discipline yourself to just like not be a visionary for, 20 minutes. I feel like I'm surrounded by visionaries. If you're here, you're probably a visionary. Yeah, that was you until I nudged you. Yeah, exactly, Callie. Everybody's thinking big, 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 because we have so many people that we love and we want to help. Why the heck else are we in the beauty industry, right? This is why we're these big like thinkers, and we want to help everybody, want to solve everybody's problems. So you're starting to think like, oh my gosh, I can teach people how to make like broccoli soup, and I can teach people how to like meal plan for their diabetic child, and I can teach people how to build a clientele, and I can teach people how to drive, and I can teach people how to play harmonica. I can teach them how to use a Cricut, because we're all a bunch of crazy ADHD people that have gone down 75,000 million rabbit holes. And it's like, yeah, you can definitely do all of those things, okay? But when you're first starting this adventure, 1 second, please. Excuse you. When you're first starting this adventure, what you need to do is solve one problem for one person. So if you have like 10 people coming at you asking for these things, if you have like 5 people asking for broccoli cheese soup, they want that recipe. They don't want just the recipe. They want to see how you do the broccoli cheese soup. Okay, so you have 5 people asking you for that in the last I would say 6 months. You might be on to something, okay? You might be. There's just a lot of ways that this could go. So anyway, pay attention to what people ask you for help with. Pay attention to all of these things, and then build to meet a need. Build something to meet a need that you guys see. That was something my dad taught me in business. I remember we were out on a boat. It was his boat at his house. And I was like, man, when I'm grown up like him, I want to be able to have a boat and take my kids on a boat at my house. But I was like, I don't think I'm going to have that much money, because I'm like, my dad, like, he was a really successful business person, and I feel like he hadn't taught me anything about business at all. Like, because it was never like, we never sat down and had like a formal conversation about business stuff ever. It was always like how to keep me out of trouble. That was every conversation that me and my dad would have for years. So, finally, when I did start a business, it was very quick, and I had to just learn everything I could. And so one of the really fast things he taught me about business out on the boat, when I was like, how do I make sure I have money when I'm old like you? And he basically said, well, if you guys are trying to start a business, because we were full-time pastors at the time, and pastors practically don't get paid. I mean, we got paid a little bit, but it's barely anything. And so we were really desperately needing money. And my dad was like, look around you and see a need that's not getting met. See a problem that needs solved, And then you just start by solving it and try to look for problems that have very low startup costs. Okay. You guys should know. If you don't know, it's okay. But startup costs when you're doing a business is like all the crap that you have to buy to just make the business run, to just make the business go, all the crap. Like, so those are all your startup costs. And then you have like, you know, continuing costs for supplies. But a lot of the startup stuff is just expensive at the beginning of starting a business. So when you take into consideration your startup costs for the business, then like if you're going to do a salon, you're going to have to build out a unit or build a place or buy a place or take, I've never seen anybody for less than like 10 grand open and start a salon. Even I barely did it for under 10 grand. The reason I did that was number one, because of what my dad told me. And number two, there was a businesswoman who came in and I did her nails for free in exchange for something for the salon owner. And then I made the salon owner pay me. I was like, I didn't do free nails for you. But the lady was a business person who came in to speak at the salon, and she wasn't there to speak about like business, you know, but she asked me, she sat with me and I was doing her nails and she was like, what do you really want to do? And I was like, I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I want to have a nail school. Like I want to start my own place. I want to educate nail techs all over the world, because there's just not good education, and the stuff that's out there is from like Russia and Mexico, like way back, you know, that was all that was on YouTube. It wasn't in like Robin Moses. It was like that. And my girl, Robin, who I love, drive by love to Robin, my girl, out in Oregon, but Robin Moses was on there just doing nails. And that was pretty much all there was. And I wanted to figure out a way to like get that out to the masses. And so I traveled in person, did that for years. And then we switched it up to digital. And let me tell you, the overhead cost to get Stand.store, it's like $29 to be official, like legit official with your online courses. It's going to cost $29. You got an iPhone in your hand. And you know what? You don't even have to do it that way. You could just honestly put a payment link and then set up a private Facebook group, and it's going to cost you $0 for your startup costs. So don't complain to me about wanting to start a business or wanting to do another business and then like say, oh my gosh, girl, you have everything already. Your startup costs are paid for. The only thing you're going to have to do is buy one little tech product to look legit. That's literally it. You can film the whole course on your phone. You can edit the videos on your phone. You can upload the videos onto Stand.store from your phone. You can build the funnel from your phone. You can record your Facebook ads from your phone. You can add the Facebook ads to Facebook Ads Manager from your phone. You can do your emails from your phone. Literally everything can be done now from just the phone. And that is your startup cost. Like if you have a phone and if you have the sun coming in a window, I don't even use fancy lights anymore, y'all. I just use the sun coming in my window. Did you, Jennifer? Yeah. I remember that class in 2014. I will never forget that class. Woo. Yeah, I had a lot of fun classes out in LA. All right, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You guys, thank you so much for joining. So yeah, just get on my email list. That's all I'm saying. Like, click the link wherever you guys see the link. Click the link, and it's just me. It's just me talking to you guys in an email to say, hey, thanks for coming to my live. Here are the links you guys were asking for. Here's the new program that we're starting next month, a new mentorship program, so I can help beauty pros like you who are interested in doing digital products and courses. Thank you guys so much. I love you. I will see you on the inside. Bye.